In this lesson, we are going to be learning how to solve systems with 3 variables, which is crazy. Now, up till now, we've been solving 2 system variables. What do I mean? Like, you'd get 3x plus 2y equals to 8, and 2x minus 6y equals to 4. So, 2 different variables, x and y. And how did we used to solve those? Well, the one method we used to use was graphing. The second method we used to use was elimination. And the third method we used to use was substitution, right? Now we are advancing to 3 variable questions. Check this out. There are x's, there are y's, and there are z's. So it's a 3 variable system. So it's pretty crazy that we're now doing this. I'm pretty excited to show you guys this, but I just want to pause quickly. What I want to, well, not pause, because that would be pretty awkward if I just paused, right? Like the video wouldn't be playing right now. But I just want to quickly explain something. Kevin, that was really lame. I know. So yeah, there I go, talking to myself again. I do that a lot. Maybe I should go see a doctor. Interesting. So, we are pretty good at solving 2 variable systems, right? We know how to do it. We're not going to do graphing. Graphing's just, we'd rather just do elimination and substitution. But we know how to solve 2 variable systems. Once we can get 2 variables, we are like experts, either using any one of these methods. In this lesson, we're going to focus on the elimination. So the general idea is that what we do is we're going to take this 3 variables, and we are going to use strategies to try reduce it to a 2 variable system. Now, Kevin, how the hell do we do that? Like, how can you take 3 and turn it into 2? I'm going to show you. But once we can get it to 2 variables, then we can use, then we're pretty good, because then we can use these techniques, right? So 2 variables is our friend. 3 variables, we don't want that. So what we do is the following. Okay, you need to decide, and it doesn't really matter, to be honest, but you need to decide, do you want to eliminate the x's? Do you want to eliminate the y's, or do you want to eliminate the z's? It doesn't matter, okay, at all. So I'm just going to eliminate, I choose to eliminate x. Okay, that's what I'm going to eliminate. I'm going to eliminate the x. So the way that you do it, this is equation 1, this is equation 2, and this is equation 3. Now, you can choose to work with any 2 equations at a time. So, for example, you could work with equation... So you could do this. Check here. You could work with, let's say, option number 1. You could work with equation 1 and 2, and then you can work with equation 2 and 3. Or option number 2, I'll explain something now. You could work with equation 1 and 2, and then you could work with equation 1 and 3. Option number 3, you could work with equation, I don't know. Well, yeah, that's about all you could really do. What you don't want to do, you wouldn't do something like this. Equation, oh no, you could actually do that. 1 and 2, 1, 3. Yeah, the point is, as long as you're working with all 3 equations. So here we're working with 1, 2, and 3. Here we're working with 1, 2, and 3. As long as you are working with each equation, then you are good to go. Okay, so I'm just going to go keep it very simple, and I'm just going to follow option number 1. So I'm going to first start with equation 1 and 2. So I'm going to write equation 1 and 2 above each other. So that's going to be minus 2x minus y minus 4z equals to 19. And then equation number 2 is minus x plus 3y minus 6z equals to 12. Okay, what we're now going to do is we said, I choose to eliminate x. So I want you to do whatever you need to do to eliminate the x's. So I'm going to multiply this equation by 2. I'm going to multiply it by 2. Okay, so I'm going to take this entire equation, and we're just going to multiply everything by 2. So that's going to give us negative 2x plus 6y minus 12z equals 100. Whoa, Kevin, where are you getting 100, my bro? 24. Okay. And then I'm just going to rewrite that over here. There we go. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract I'm going to subtract these two equations. So I'm going to, if this is equation number, I'm just going to say this top one minus the bottom one. So I'm going to say top minus bottom. Now be careful. So the top one is a minus 2x. So it's going to be minus 2x minus 2x. So it ends up becoming a plus. And that's why I did that, so that these would cancel out. Now it's going to be negative y, take away 6. So that's going to be negative 7y's. Then it's going to be negative 4. Now be careful. Take away negative 12. So it's negative 4, take away negative 12. So it actually ends up becoming negative 4, add 12, which is 8. And then we're going to say 19, take away 24, which is negative 5. Excellent, guys. You've done the right thing. We have eliminated x. See there? There's no x. Very good. So, Kevin, what do we do now, bro? There's still like 2 unknowns. I know. Don't worry. Just leave it as it is now. So we'll let this equation just chill over here for a little bit. We'll come use that one again just now. There we go. Okay. Now we are going to choose equation 2 and 3. Now you don't have to, you can just use the originals every time. You don't have to. I know we modified equation 2, but that was when we were busy with this one. You can just restart. So we're going to go back to these two now. So that's going to be minus x plus 3y take away 6z equals to 12. And then 6x plus 4y plus 2z equals negative 12. Now remember, we chose to eliminate x, so you have to stick to that. You can't be like, okay, for this one I'm going to eliminate y. Then it doesn't work. So we have to eliminate x. So what I'm going to do is I need to get this to become a 6. So I'm going to multiply this entire equation by 6. Okay? And so that's going to become negative 6x plus 18y. And then, yeah, I erased that by mistake. So we're multiplying everything by 6. So this will become minus 36z equals to 72. Okay, and then I'm just going to erase this one because we're now not using that anymore. Now I'm going to add these two together because 6 take away 6 plus minus 6 is going to be 0. So that cancels. 4 plus 18 is 22. This is 2 take away 36, which is negative 34. And then negative 12 add 72 is 60. And there we go. We eliminated x. So I'm going to take this equation now, and I'm going to put that over there. And this is where the fun begins, because suddenly we have 2 equations. And how many variables do we have? We have y and we have z. We only have 2 variables. So now we can go back to the techniques that we've learned already about 2 variables. You see, that is how it works, guys. And this is the elimination method. That's why I was using elimination the whole time. In the next lesson, I'm going to show you a substitution method. But the idea is that if we can take the 3 variable system and then just eliminate one of the variables in all of them, then we end up with a 2 variable system. So you might be wondering, but Kevin, then how are we going to find z? Don't worry, we will be able to find z a little bit later. That's the easy part at the end. But for now, we can now go work out our 2 variable system using our our elimination methods. Okay, so let's quickly write these 2 equations. Now this should be easy for most of you. Like, this is what we've done many times already. Geez, but what numbers are we going to use here that can be the same? Well, I'll tell you what. This is crazy. It's difficult to find a common number between 7 and 22 or 8 and 34. But what I know is that if I multiply this entire equation by 7, and if I multiply this entire equation by 22, then these 2 numbers are going to end up becoming the same. Don't believe me? I'll show you. So I'm going to multiply this by 22. So that becomes negative 154y. And then that 8 I'm going to multiply by 22, which becomes 176. And then the 22 I'm going to multiply, the 5, sorry, that becomes negative 110. Then for this number, I'm going to multiply that by 7. So that'll be 22 times 7, which is 154. Told you so. I used to get so annoyed when people say, I told you so. 34, like when you were young kids, it's terrible. 238z. And then 60 times 7 is 420. Okay, so there we have it. So then I'm just going to add these two equations together, because then this part cancels out. So just adding them together, so that cancels out. 176 plus negative 238 is negative 62z. And then negative 110 plus 420 is 310. Now you hope that when you divide, you get a nice looking number. I mean, it won't always happen that way, but usually it does. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 62. And so we end up with z equals negative 5. Oh yeah, negative 5. And that is correct because I wrote down the answers over there. So now we have z. Now to find y, you could plug that z back over there, or you could even plug it back to any of these modified ones. I mean, over there or over there. It really doesn't matter. This is why maths is beautiful. So I'm just going to plug it back over there. The numbers look small. So wherever I see a z, I'm just going to plug it in. Okay, so that's going to become negative 7y plus 8 times negative 5 equals to negative 5. And so that's going to become negative 7y take away 40 equals to negative 5. And, you know, you could have chosen to eliminate z or y in the beginning. It really does not matter. Okay, so I need to now make a bit more space over here. So we're going to say negative 7y take away 40 equals negative 5. And so we end up with negative 7y equals to negative 5 plus 40. So negative 7y is 35. Divide both sides by negative 7. And so y is negative 5. And so there we have it, and we know that that's correct because I wrote down the answers. So now the big question is, how do we find x? Well, this is the easy step, to be honest. All you do now is you take this z and you take this y and you plug it back into any one of these over here. I'm just going to take the top one, okay? So we take the y, for example, negative 5, and you just go pop it in there. And then you take the z of negative 5 and you just go pop it in there. And then the only unknown would be x. Kevin, this is genius. I know, it's amazing. It just takes long, but not that difficult. And of course, I didn't mention in the beginning, you need to make sure your equation has all the x's by each other, all the y's, and then all the z's. You don't want it to be all scattered. Okay, so we're going to go plug it in. So minus 2x take away. Now in brackets, please, 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 whenever you replace it, always use a bracket. Like that. X and y, I mean z and y are the same value. Interesting. Like that. Must be in brackets. Otherwise, this part here, you're not going to end up doing that correctly. You're going to end up getting a negative when it should actually be a positive. Negative 4 times negative 5 is 20. Like that. Okay, now we're just going to solve by taking the 5 and the 20 over. And so we end up with negative 2x equals to negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 2, and x is 3. So x is 3, and we know that that's correct because of that. So there we go. I'm going to do one more example with you guys, and that's it. I mean, I don't think we need to do more than 2 examples. I mean, unless we're going to have like a sleepover, which, yeah, it's going to take forever, right? So let's just do one more example, and then you can understand. This time I'll try to eliminate a different variable. So, ooh, fancy. Here we're using r, s, and t. We don't always have to use x, y, and z. For this one, and it's completely your choice. It really doesn't matter. Like, you can literally, if you want, just like flip a coin and be like, heads is t, I don't know, tail is s, and then if the coin lands on the side, like on its side, which is absolutely impossible, then choose like R. I don't know, whatever. It really doesn't matter. Like, I want you to get used to that idea that it doesn't actually matter. At the end, you will get the same answers. So I'm going to eliminate S. Why? Well, I just feel like doing S, okay? Don't judge me. We're just going to go with S. So write it at the top of your page. Remind yourself that we are eliminating S. I am eliminating S, because you have to stick to that. You can't now go eliminate S in the one and then T in the other. Okay, and then you just need to make sure that you do combination. So you could, for example, do combination 1 and 2, so equation 1 and 2, and then you could do like 1 and 3, for example. You could do 1 and 2, 2 and 3, as long as you're using each one. So you're using 1, you're using 2, and you're using 3. Great stuff. what you wouldn't do, like this would be really silly, 1 and 2, and then in the next one you're like, oh, I'm just going to do 2 and 1. My bro, that's the same thing. So you're not going to do that, okay? You're going to make sure that you're doing one of each. You must be doing one of each. And that's equation number 3. So let's start with equation number 1 and equation number 2. So we're just going to say minus 3 minus 3s plus 3t equals negative, what? 10, bro? Negative 30. And then we're going to take equation number 2. So that's 6r, take away s, take away 2t equals 21. So remember, we are eliminating s. So we only focus our attention on that. We don't try to get the r's the same. We don't try to get the t's the same. We try to get these the same. So to do that, I need to get this one to become a 3, okay? You could even divide this whole equation by 3 if you wanted to, because then everything would drop, but I don't want to confuse you. But you can do that. If you're a student who was thinking, can't I just divide by 3? Yeah, you can. But I'm going to rather multiply this entire equation by 3. And so that's going to become 18r take away 3s take away 6t equals to 63. So I just multiplied everything in that equation by 3. Okay. Now let's erase all of that. And let's just write it nice and close. Okay, now I'm not going to add them. If you add negative 3 and negative 3, you get negative 6. So I'm rather going to subtract them. So let's say this is the top one, this is the bottom one. I'm just going to say top minus bottom, okay? Top minus bottom. Okay, so we're going to say minus 3 minus 18, which is minus 21. Minus 3, so this part here, you're going to get minus 3, take away minus 3, which becomes minus 3 plus 3. So they cancel. That's sort of what we wanted. And then we're going to do the next part, which is going to be 3 take away minus 6, which is going to become 3 plus 6. You've got to look out for that, hey? A minus and a minus becomes a plus. So when learners minus or subtract, they often make these little mistakes. So it actually becomes positive 9t. And now we're going to say minus 30, negative 30, take away 63, which is negative 93. There we go. Leave that equation alone. There's nothing you can do. It's got r and t. You can't solve that any further. Now we're going to move on to our second scenario, which is equation 1 and 3. Kevin, could I also have done equation 2 and 3? Absolutely, no problem. 1 and 3, 2 and 3, or 1 and 3. Well, I mean 1 and 2 and 1 and 3, it doesn't matter. As long as you're using equation 1 somewhere, as long as you're using equation 2 somewhere, and as long as you're using equation 3 somewhere, you're good. So we're going to go equation 1 and 3, just for the fun of it. So that's going to be minus 3r, minus 3s, take away, plus 3t, equals negative 30. And then, what are we doing? 1 and 3, hey? Oh yeah, we've done 1 and 2, now we're doing 1 and 3. So negative r, plus 3s, plus 5t, equals 6. Okay, so what are we going to do? Are we going to try eliminate the r's, the s's, or the t's? Remember, we said in the very beginning, we are going to eliminate s. So that means we stick to that. If you change it now, you're going to have a problem. So we're going to eliminate s. Now check this out. These are already the same, which is amazing. So we're just going to add them. Kevin, shouldn't we minus them? No, because if it's minus 3, take away positive 3, that's going to give you negative 6. But if you add them, that's the magic. Minus 3 plus 3, that's 0. That's what we want. So we're just going to add these two equations together. So minus 3 plus minus 1 is going to be negative 4r. This part cancels. Amazing. 3 plus 5 is 8. And then negative 30 plus 6 is negative 24. Cool. Now check this out. We have two equations with two variables, and we know how to solve that. We've done that in previous sections a lot. We did a lot of those. And so what we end up now with is negative 21r plus 9t equals negative 93. I'm just rewriting it over here. And then the other one is negative 4r plus 8t equals negative 24. Now you can decide now. Now we're not trying to eliminate s. There is no s because we eliminated it. So now we have two variables, which is what we wanted. So now you can decide to eliminate the r or the t. I'm going to go for the t because I know that I can turn both of these into 72. Maybe there's a better one, I don't know, but I'm going to multiply this entire equation by 8, and I'm going to multiply this entire equation by 9. So we end up with negative 168r, I'm busy doing this one at the moment, plus 72t equals to negative 744. Okay? And then for the next one, I'm going to multiply everything by 9. So it's negative 36r, and then plus 72t, and then 24 times 9 is negative 216. Okay. And so what we'll do now is we will subtract them, because this will then cancel those out. So we'll say top one, take away the bottom one. Okay, so we're going to say top minus bottom. So remember, it's minus 168, take away negative 36. So if you do that on your calculator, you're going to actually end up plussing the 36. So many learners struggle with that. So that's going to be negative 132r. The t's are going to cancel, which is awesome. And then we're going to have the top one, which is minus 744. Plus 216, and so that's going to be negative 528. So now to get r by itself, you're going to divide both sides by negative 132, and so you end up with 4. R is 4. Amazing, and that is correct because we've written the answer over there just to make sure. Okay, now that you have r, you can plug that r back into this equation, or this equation, or this equation. It doesn't matter. You plug it into one of those to be able to find t. So I'm going to plug it into this top one over here. So that's going to be negative 21. Wait, where did I write my answer? R is 4. So I'm going to take that R is 4, and I'm going to plug it there. So we end up with negative 21 times 4 plus 9t equals to negative 93, and to end up with negative 84 plus 9t equals to negative 93, and then you end up with 9t equals to negative 93 plus 84, which is negative 9. Divide both sides by 9, and you get t equals to negative 1. So yeah, it goes alphabetical, R, S, and T. So R is there, T is there. Now that we have R and T, what we then do is take that R, take that T, plug it back into this one, or this one. It doesn't matter at all. I'm going to plug it back into the top equation over here. So we're going to take the R as 4, and we're just going to plug it over there. And then we're going to take the... Where did I write my t? Oh, there. T is negative 1. We're going to plug that over there, and then we'll be able to find s. So it's going to be negative 3 times 4, negative 3s, plus 3 times negative 1 equals negative 30. And to end up with negative 12, take away 3s, take away 3 equals to negative 30. And so we end up with negative 3s equals to negative 30, and then this becomes negative 15. So if I take it to the other side, it becomes plus 15. And so I end up with negative 3s equals to negative 15. Divide both sides by negative 3 and end up with s as 5. And so there we have our final answer. So we need to go write that answer down for them. So alphabetically, R is first. So R was 4. S is 5, and T is negative 1.